Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Chinese Premier Li Keqiang emphasized the urgent need to establish a ceasefire in Gaza and ensure the swift delivery of humanitarian assistance to the besieged enclave. During a high-level meeting in Cairo, both leaders stressed the importance of resuming diplomatic efforts for a peaceful resolution to the ongoing conflict and called for a just, comprehensive solution to the Palestinian issue. The discussion also highlighted the close strategic partnership between Egypt and China based on mutual respect and shared interests, with both sides reaffirming the commitment to regional stability. Both leaders underscored the necessity of maintaining coordinated efforts to stabilize the Middle East, including firm support for the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Iran. Egypt's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, Badr Abdulati, has held phone calls with his counterparts in Qatar, Jordan, Bahrain, Algeria, Oman, and Kuwait, as well as Morocco, and parts of ongoing coordination and consultation. The talks emphasized strengthening bilateral relations and joint Arab action amid current regional challenges. The ministers exchanged views on developments in Gaza, Egypt's efforts with Qatar and the United States to resume a ceasefire, release detainees, and ensure urgent humanitarian aid access. Abdulati also reviewed preparations for Egypt to host the Early Recovery and Reconstruction Conference for Gaza once a ceasefire agreement is reached, in cooperation with the Palestinian government and the United Nations. U.S. President Donald Trump has expressed optimism about a possible ceasefire in Gaza, saying there is a very good chance an agreement could be reached this week or next. Speaking after meeting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu twice in 2 days, Trump highlighted ongoing negotiations and efforts to secure a deal to end the conflict and bring detainees home.
All of the other places that we all deal with so much, but there's a very good chance that we'll have a settlement.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that Israel is moving closer to a 60-day ceasefire agreement with Hamas, which would involve the return of half of the living and deceased detainees. Netanyahu confirmed ongoing negotiations with U.S. President Donald Trump and emphasized Israel's refusal to hand over humanitarian aid distribution to Hamas, citing concerns over theft and extortion. Despite progress, key issues remain unresolved, including aid across rather access and troop withdrawal, with Hamas sources denying major breakthroughs. The European Union has announced an agreement with Israel to expand humanitarian aid access to the Gaza Strip. EU Foreign Affairs Chief Kaja Kallas said the deal will open more crossings for aid and food trucks, repair vital infrastructure, and ensure the protection of aid workers. Additional steps include reopening aid routes through Jordan and Egypt, enabling food distribution via bakeries and public kitchens, and resuming fuel deliveries for humanitarian facilities. The EU emphasized the importance of delivering aid directly to the population. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has accused Israel of committing genocide in Palestine during a speech to the parliament, condemning the EU for not doing enough to stop the violence. He criticized Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's government, calling its actions one of the darkest episodes of the 21st century, and highlighted the suffering of Palestinian children. Sanchez revealed that Spain and Ireland pushed for an EU report assessing Israel's compliance with the EU-Israel Association Agreement, which found more than sufficient indications of human rights violations. He urged the EU to suspend the agreement immediately, warning that what is condemned in Ukraine cannot be tolerated in Palestine. The latest indirect talks between Hamas and Israel in Doha have so far failed to break the deadlock, with only minor progress on humanitarian aid and Israeli troop withdrawal issue. Hamas insists that aid distribution be managed by international bodies like the UN, while Israel favors the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, approved by its government. The two sides also disagree on the extent and timeline of Israeli military withdrawal from Gaza.